South Africa and China are getting close to signing a major trade deal that could change the way South Africa does business with the rest of the world. This is not just another routine agreement between two countries. Many people who follow global economics are saying this feels like South Africa making a bold decision about its future, choosing to open new doors instead of waiting for old ones to reopen. Here is what is happening. China has offered to let certain South African products enter its market without any extra taxes or fees. In trade language, this is called duty-free access. For South Africa, getting that kind of entry into the world's second largest economy is a very big deal. It means South African farmers, miners and businesses could soon sell their goods to over 1 billion Chinese consumers at prices that are actually competitive without being made more expensive by import taxes. South Africa's Trade Minister, Parks Tau, travelled to China on Friday, February 6, 2026, to formally put this agreement in place. Officials from South Africa's Trade Ministry confirmed the trip and explained that the deal is expected to bring two main benefits. First, South African products would get preferential treatment when entering Chinese markets. Second, China would send fresh investment money into South African industries. The South African government described the trip as part of a bigger effort to find new markets and grow exports. In plain terms, that means South Africa does not want to rely too heavily on just one or two countries for its economic survival. So which South African products stand to benefit the most? Experts believe agriculture and mining will be the big winners in the early stages. Think about citrus fruits, wine, tea, and processed foods that South African farmers and food producers work hard to grow and make. Then think about the minerals that come out of South African mines, the kinds of raw materials that go into making smartphones, electric cars, and the batteries and technology needed for clean energy. South Africa has a lot of these minerals, and China needs them. That combination makes this deal attractive for both sides. To really understand why this agreement matters so much right now, you have to look at what has been happening with South Africa's relationship with the United States. America is still South Africa's second largest trading partner when you count individual countries. But that relationship has been getting more and more uncomfortable. Last August, the United States reportedly put tariffs of around 30% on some South African products. A tariff is basically a tax on imported goods, and when it is that high, it makes South African products much more expensive for American buyers, which means fewer sales and fewer jobs back home. The tension between South Africa and the Trump administration reportedly went beyond just trade. There were diplomatic disagreements and political differences that made the whole relationship feel shaky and unpredictable. South Africa tried to renegotiate and protect the trade benefits it had previously enjoyed with America, but progress was slow and uncertain. For businesses trying to plan ahead, that kind of uncertainty is incredibly difficult. How do you decide to build a new factory or hire more workers when you do not know if the trading rules will change tomorrow? South Africa is not the only African country feeling this pressure. When the United States started placing tariffs on countries around the world, many African economies felt the effects. Each country was left wondering when they might be next and what it would mean for their workers and their growth. China saw all of this happening and made a very deliberate move. Last June, after Washington began announcing tariffs on multiple countries, Beijing did the opposite. China announced that it would remove all tariffs on goods coming from the 53 African countries that have diplomatic relations with China. For South Africa specifically, this announcement landed with real weight. China had already overtaken the European Union in 2023 to become South Africa's largest single-country trading partner. So when China said duty-free, South Africa was already primed and ready to take that offer seriously. What does duty-free access to China actually mean in practical, everyday terms for South Africa? It means more ships loaded with South African goods leaving the port of Durban. It means more money coming back into the country from those sales. It means farmers in regions like Limpopo and miners in the Northern Cape having a bigger and more reliable customer for what they produce. It means the possibility of South Africa not just sending raw materials to China, but eventually doing more processing and manufacturing at home before the goods are exported. That last part is especially important because it means more skilled jobs staying in South Africa instead of the value being created somewhere else. Now, it would be naive to think China is doing all of this purely out of kindness toward Africa. China is a smart and strategic actor on the world stage. By stepping up and offering trade benefits to African countries at exactly the moment when the United States is pulling back or creating barriers, China is positioning itself as the stable, dependable partner. This helps China in very practical ways too. It secures a steady supply of the minerals and raw materials Africa has in abundance. Materials China needs for its own technology industry and green energy goals. It also deepens China's influence across the continent through investments, construction projects, and long-term business relationships. Some analysts describe this as a carefully planned move in the broader competition between the United States and China for global influence. They warn that Africa could become a kind of playing field in that rivalry between the two superpowers. Others take a more optimistic view. They argue that as long as African countries negotiate carefully and protect their own interests, they can actually benefit from having powerful partners competing for their attention. The key question, as one observer put it, is who holds the pen when the contracts are being written? What makes South Africa's move significant beyond just the economics is what it says about attitude and mindset. South Africa is signalling that it is no longer willing to sit quietly and wait for Western countries to decide its fate. Instead of hoping that Washington changes its position, Pretoria is actively going out to find alternatives. That is a meaningful shift. It reflects a country that wants options, that wants to be less vulnerable to shocks from any single partner, and that wants to stand on more solid economic ground. And South Africa is not alone in this kind of thinking. Across Africa, other nations are watching and taking note. The continent has more trading partners available today than ever before. There is China, India, Brazil, and fellow African countries, connected through the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is an agreement that makes it easier for African countries to trade with each other. The message coming out of South Africa's latest deal is that Africa has choices now. The world is coming to Africa, competing for its resources, its markets, and its partnerships. That does not mean this deal with China is perfect or without risk. Critics will debate the terms, worry about dependency, and question whether China's investment will truly benefit ordinary South Africans or mostly serve Chinese interests. Those are fair concerns and important conversations to have. But the direction of travel is clear. South Africa is trying to chart a more independent economic course, one where it is not hostage to the mood of any single powerful country. If there is one broader lesson in all of this for the African continent, it may simply be this. When the rules of one partnership become unpredictable or unfair, the smart response is not to panic or plead. It is to look around, identify your value, and negotiate confidently with whoever is willing to deal honestly and fairly. South Africa appears to be doing exactly that. Whether it succeeds will depend on how well it holds its ground when the fine print is agreed upon, and the real work of making the deal deliver for ordinary people begins.